Isaiah 19, verse 14 and 15. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do.
A tough time right now for the job market. Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Laurel. Major companies are slashing jobs and impacting tens of thousands of workers across the country. We're talking big names like Amazon and Target. Some companies point to rising operational costs from new tariffs. Others are restructuring their corporate teams or redirecting money to artificial intelligence. Federal employees have also been impacted this year. The Trump administration cut thousands of jobs through its goal of reducing the size of the federal workforce. Many government employees are also now going on weeks working without pay or on furlough because of the ongoing shutdown. Amazon just announced its latest round of job cuts. It's slashing 14,000 corporate positions. It says it's streamlining operations and redirecting resources towards AI. Amazon's headquarters are in Seattle. Sebastian Robertson reports from there with more details and reaction.
Amazon executives say they're all in on AI, confident they can continue to grow with fewer people. This round of cuts impacts about 14,000 corporate employees worldwide.
They are one of the most valuable companies on the planet, and they seemingly lay off employees en masse once a quarter. And it just isn't fair to the employees that do make them all of their money and don't seem to get rewarded for it.
Seattle's largest employer confirmed the layoffs in an internal memo, calling AI the most transformative technology we've seen since the internet. The memo says the technology is allowing Amazon to operate faster and leaner. Some newly jobless employees took to social media.
I was laid off by Amazon. I was one of the 14,000 employees that were affected today. They sent out an email at 5 a.m. Seattle time. The thing so that people don't have to go to the office if they are laid off. I'm still processing what just happened.
Amazon experienced a massive hiring boom during the pandemic, but has implemented multiple waves of layoffs since 2022. While major job cuts would historically spook investors, experts say this time is different.
You're seeing the stock market applaud these cuts because it signals, hey, maybe they can rely on AI, maybe they can operate more efficiently, and maybe they can go forward with a lower payroll.
A trend Schulman fears could be repeated across the broader tech sector.
AI is changing how people get information, how they process information, how they create content. And so we're seeing that can all be done much more efficiently than ever before. And so it requires far fewer people.
Those 14,000 corporate cuts are about 4% of Amazon's corporate workforce. Amazon is asking impacted employees to apply for internal positions. If not, they have 3 months to find another job. Target said it's eliminating 1,800 corporate positions. 1,000 employees just got layoff notices, and 800 vacant jobs will no longer be filled. Gordon Severson spoke to Target workers.
It was just like no one felt safe.
Heading into the weekend, many Target employees were worried that come Tuesday morning, their lives could be changed forever.
Everyone was just very stressed out, not knowing what their future was.
We are concealing the identity of one Target employee who kept their job but fears termination. They say the layoffs affected nearly every department, with many teams losing at least one team member.
It's all over the board, and it was just kind of like 1 in 6 people. If you were to go at a team, it seemed like that was kind of the ratio.
It's an immensely traumatic event.
Ben Foster with Foresight Coaching says for many employees, a sudden layoff can be just as devastating as the loss of a loved one.
The sense of loss is extreme because it's your world that you've been living in for at least 8 hours a day for who knows how long, and it's often cut off just like that. And so there is an extreme sense of loss that is present with this that not a lot of people recognize.
The Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development says the layoffs include several top-level executives and department directors who work in a wide range of departments, including accounting, legal, marketing, communications, supply chain, engineering, and many others. Foster says his office is already receiving calls from Target employees who are looking for their next job.
We've received a couple sort of, what do you have on the horizon? What are you seeing out there?
He says it's a good idea to get the job search started early, but he's also encouraging affected employees to take some time to acknowledge their loss and grief and to lean on family and friends for support.
It's devastating, and you don't really know what the next thing is, and it comes at you quick.
This is the largest layoff event at Target since 2015, when 1,700 employees lost their job and 1,400 open positions went unfilled. So fewer layoffs this time around, but a lot of employees say they are worried about the job market right now, with Amazon also announcing plans to lay off thousands of employees.
Target is one of the largest employers in Minnesota, where the company has its headquarters. The state's economy could take a hit from the layoffs. The cuts are also part of a broader trend of slow job growth in white-collar positions. Danny Spewak has a look at that bigger picture.
In many ways, Target Corporation is part of Minnesota's identity.
It's right in our backyard. It's one of those very visible corporate headquarters.
As University of St. Thomas economics professor Tyler Schipper points out, Target is not only one of the state's largest employers, but also the second largest in downtown Minneapolis, behind Hennepin Healthcare.
Having less foot traffic and fewer workers, especially in these higher income corporate jobs, makes it harder for that ecosystem to continue to thrive.
Target's circumstances are unique, but the company isn't the only one reducing the size of its corporate workforce.
These type of jobs, the corporate jobs in professional business services, have seen slower job growth.
Amazon, for example, also just announced thousands of corporate layoffs this week, telling employees that the company must be organized more leanly in light of changes brought by artificial intelligence.
When you hear terms like efficiencies, that's candid conversation for, all right, we're trying to cut costs as much as we can and increase productivity and our overall profit margin.
Florida State University management professor Darren Brooks studies the American workforce, including the potential impact of AI.
You're going to have leaders like Amazon, like IBM. Those types of companies are going to continue to push the edge on that, but I think we're still at its infancy. And we'll see that continue to emerge and affect more and more jobs over the next couple of years.
For Target, the reorganization is more about revival after a 65% drop in share value over the past 4 years.
This is an unfortunate feature or defect of corporations, that their goal is to maximize profits for their shareholders.
Now, according to the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development, 2025 is on pace to equal or possibly slightly surpass the number of layoffs reported last year. Target is the latest in a series of high-profile reorganizations announced by Minnesota companies over the past couple of years, including General Mills and 3M. You may remember those.
General Motors is also cutting jobs. It's laying off about 1,700 electric vehicle manufacturing positions. That includes 1,200 jobs from its EV plant in Detroit and another 500 workers at an Ohio battery plant. In a statement, GM cites lower than expected EV demand and regulations that have changed under the Trump administration. The cuts also come after the $7,500 federal tax credit for electric cars ended in September. Paramount is cutting about 1,000 jobs, and that's just round one. It has plans to lay off 1,000 more in the near future, according to the Associated Press. That'll be about 10% of its workforce. Now, the layoffs affect jobs across Paramount's TV, film, streaming, and corporate departments. The layoffs were expected. Paramount just completed a merger with Skydance a couple months ago. UPS says it's cut 48,000 positions this year. On its recent quarterly call, UPS said 34,000 were operational roles. The other 14,000 were mostly within management. UPS announced layoffs earlier this year, but that total is much higher than expected. At the time, it was estimated it would impact about 20,000 workers. UPS also closed dozens of facilities. It reached a new agreement in January to lower the amount of Amazon shipments it handles.